Hello, my name is KIKI LAFLEUR and I have this wonderful look for you. This is a bright pink, okay? It's magenta, it's purples, like it's beautiful, it's pretty, it's fun, it's summer freaking ready. But I also want to show you this technique that allows you to use any bright shadow, pigment, liner, anything you want that's summer ready, bright and crazy. I promise you, every single time you use a bright shadow, bright anything, you won't look crazy. So if you want to see this technique and how I did this look, keep watching. Okay guys, so let's focus on the skin today. I want to do a bright fuchsia color. I don't want the skin to be full coverage. I want it to be a bit medium. So I'm going to use my beauty blender to actually blend out the pigmentation. So I have my tinted moisturizer on my skin, which is by 𝗀𝗡𝗟𝗏. This is the Caramel. And as you can see, you can't really tell I have anything on it because it blends in so well. And I also use tan and nutmeg, depending on where we are in the season. I'm also going to put this Grown Alchemist primer on. It comes out really satin and it does a good job at mattifying the skin. So I like to put it on the points of my skin that will definitely without a doubt become oily in a matter of 30 minutes from now. Even in my brows, I feel like my brows also, you know how to act up when it comes to being greasy. Press it into the skin because the skin is a sponge and it's gonna soak it up really nicely. Now I know I look crazy, I know, but I have my damp beauty blender and I'm just gonna blend this out. So now I'm gonna go ahead and use my this is actually a full coverage foundation. This is 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗏. This is their CC illumination. It has nice silver flecks in it that really reflects on the skin. You don't see it too well. It's really subtle shimmer, but it really helps you to have that inner glow look, you know what I mean? So yeah, this is an anti-aging hydration serum. This has a lot of good stuff in this foundation. So I'm going to put it in my pan, and this is in shade Rich, by the way. So I'm going to use my black beauty blender and I'm just going to really just get that product in. I like to, that's the only way that I feel personally that I can allow a product to go on to be medium to full coverage, by using the sponge. If I was to use a brush tends to pack on too much product in its bristles at times, while with this I can easily just it's like an airbrush finish more so than anything. I also like to put makeup where my skin is showing. Try not to get any close. I do want to bake underneath my eyes so that when I do my eyeshadow I don't have to worry about too much fallout. So I'm going to do my brows really quick. I don't see my wax, so I'm actually going to use my brow pomade by Anastasia. I like to actually put it into the cap with the angle brush from Anastasia with the spoolie at the end, which is my favorite. I cannot use a brush without a spoolie. It just doesn't make sense. How do you know what you're doing if you are not able to brush and shape your brows as you see it? Like, it's best gift on earth. So I'm going in first with dark brown, and then I'm going to go in with the ebony, which is my favorite way of actually doing things. So drawing hair strokes to the parts and areas that I feel needed the most, and just giving it its shape. How do I want it to look? That's why I use the lighter color, because I feel like it blends in with the brows way more. And if you make an arrow, boo-boo, you can just wipe it off and it doesn't really affect the brow look too much. I love how thick my brows are. I've been growing them out. I've been growing out my lashes, and I've been using a Grande Lash growth serum, and I actually put the grande lash on the brows as well. It works tremendously. It took me a while to get to this point. Like, all hair will be removed as far as hair is concerned, but I'm just loving the bushiness. Okay, so now that I got my brow shape pretty much the way I want to, I would go in next with the Ebony shade by Anastasia and just really deepen and darken the edges mostly. And what I like to do is just stay on the inner section of the eye. I don't go too further on the edges, just so that I like the effect of light, medium, dark. I do pretty much all my makeup when it comes to that technique. I feel like it truly makes a difference. And I'm neat with this process, but I'm not too neat because I know that I'm going to go in with a clean concealer brush and just straighten out any harsh lines. So as promised, I'm going to go in, I'm going to clean up these brows really quickly. I'm using a flat concealer brush and I'm going in with my Anastasia. This is the contour cream palette that I love. I'm just going to find whatever shade it is or mix a couple of colors to make my brow shade. And I don't like it to be too light. So I definitely know I'm going to take this color, which is the cream. And what I like to do is put it on a palette. I feel like, why is this palette here if I cannot use it like a pro? So, and I'm going to actually mix a little bit of this brown just to get the shade that I'm looking for. And it's so important to not have your brows stand out. Like, for example, when you would see people put, too light, way too light. They will put white pencil or concealer that is way too light, triple shades, quadruple shades sometimes, and put it underneath the brow, but they don't blend it out, so they're walking around looking like this. Please don't do that. I beg you. So right now, I feel like it's still a bit too light. Like, if you don't think of makeup as an art, I don't know how or why, because if you're not mixing your palettes like this, then you don't get that it should be taken seriously, at least to a point where if you're going to play with makeup, know what you're doing, at least for the most part. I'm going to go in and use my blending concealer brush. This is by Styla. This is number 33, and I love how it has these beautiful bristles that are dense and angled, and it really, really blends things out so nicely. Now I'm going to go back into the brows anyway, so I don't want to waste too much time actually with the details of the brows, because I'm literally going to go back into these brows when it comes to contouring my nose, which I always do, regardless of anything. There is a eyeshadow primer that I want to try, but let me do my under eye concealer now that my brows are done. I'm going to go on with Collab. This is the Peach shade. I'm just going to use my ring finger, and I'm just going to make sure I just dab this in on the inner corners. Anywhere that I feel like I want a bit more highlight, I'm just going to make sure I add this product too. I'm going to go with my beauty blender, and I'm just going to squeeze off this excess, because sometimes it'd be too much water on there. It just needs to be moist. It doesn't need to be soaking wet. I used to think that, and then you have water dripping down your face and you're like, but why? And then your makeup is also diluted, and but why? Like, hair, there's always some hair on my face. Anyway, so there's no product on this brush. What I like to do is start on the places where I know that the beauty blender is going to shear it out the most, and the parts of my face where I want it to be really opaque, I save that for last. So on my brows, I'm just going to blend this up and out. The bridge of my nose. I'm not pushing the beauty blender so far down where it spreads down to the contour parts that I like to add a bit more depth to. because I really want the outer edge to be blended. I really just want it just to be a nice sheen. So again, there's a nice sheen here, but when it comes to the underneath my eye, I definitely want it to be opaque. So there's product already on here, which is why it makes more sense to end here so that you're actually getting the maximum amount of coverage without having to add more product. Okay, I need to get some color in my lips because I cannot take this looking at myself and seeing. So I'm just going to use a generic lip balm that I have no name on it, but like, I need to look alive, okay? I need to look alive. Alright, so I'm going to go in with 𝗙𝗲𝗖𝗂. I actually am enjoying this shade. It's a nice, deep, rich shade. This is the shade, this is warm brown. So what I love about this, that I'm excited to try, I already love it and I haven't tried it yet, but I do love this shade. I've tried this already. It's a nice, deep, rich, warm brown. Doesn't have red that I can see, and I love the way it blends out, but it makes, and it's so easy to apply. But what I've just noticed, and I didn't notice before, is a sponge at the end. I did not know that was there. So I did wet it. It doesn't expand when you wet, which is cool because I was like, how you gonna fit back in here? So, but I did want to try it out and see what happens. I love having the idea of having something separate for my contour when it comes to my sponges, because when I like to go back and forth. I like to use my product and then go back and forth with my light, my dark, my light, and I also like precise this is in order to get it into my hairlines. But going back and forth with my sponge, which is what I love to do when it comes to my contour and my highlight, just so that everything blends so nicely. Like, I'm excited. I have to go out and buy another sponge. Like, it's already here. And I don't have to worry about forgetting it either. I'm going to go ahead and bake underneath my eye. I'm just going to smooth out any creasing. I'm going to use my sponge. This is my decanted Fenty powder. This is in the shade Banana. I'm just going to put some on a beauty sponge. Just apply a decent amount so that it bakes underneath the eye. I'm actually not going to leave it long. Just adding the banana into the highlight points of the face. Doesn't have to be perfect, just get it there. Next, I'm going to go in with, this is my decanted Fenty. And I decant them because there was a point in time where I was traveling and I thought it would be easier to travel with them in smaller jars. But this is a medium tone. For me, I like to use this as my mid-tone when it comes to applying any powders. I use multiple powders because it doesn't look flat once I'm done. So anywhere I didn't put that highlight, I'm just going to, and anywhere I didn't put any deep contour that isn't a part of the highlight, I'm just going to make sure that I set. Now what I like to do is just take a little bit of this product and just go on the center of the forehead, as well as the center of where the contour and highlight meet, just to warm that area. And also it adds a nice graduating effect that I just love to do. So before I go in and blend in everything, I'm gonna go in next. This is my MAC setting powder. This is in shade Cajun. This is their Princess in a Far collection. This is a nice darker shade to help set the deep contour. So next I'm going to go back in with that midsection shade. And I'm just going to use that to blend in everything else. And remove any excess powder that's on my face at the same time. And that's part of the reason why I don't like to just put one type of shade of powder on my face. I feel like it will take away from everything I just worked so hard to do. It just didn't make sense to me. So I started to applying my face powder this way, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me. I want to go ahead and work on the eyes. So this is a 𝗬𝗎 collection eye primer that I want to try. So I got this in my 𝗙𝗙𝗀𝗡, which is now called 𝗙𝗙𝗟𝗡. And I wanted to try this. It's a nice full size, and I've never tried this company before. I'm gonna go in with my Real Technique. This is their deluxe crease brush, and I'm just gonna use my finger just to get a feel of the product. So this reminds me automatically off the back of Urban Decay's Primer Potion, and I love, you hear me, Urban Decay's Primer Potion. I bought so many backups to the point where by the time I used them, they were dried up, but that did not stop me. I decanted that sucker. Ooh, this goes on nice. And it blends out effortlessly. That was really a effortless application. So I love pink. Okay, so this is where this look came about. One thing when it comes to using any bright color, you have to balance it out with dark. Like, unless you're artistically doing it on purpose, majority of the time, if all else fails, use a darker color with it. And I'm gonna show you exactly what I mean by that. So we're gonna start off with this Process Magenta by MAC. Is it this Process? Yes, Process Magenta by MAC, which is one of my favorite fuchsia colors. Pink, it's not even fuchsia, but you know, pink colors when it comes to MAC kohl pencils. So the first thing I'm gonna do is make sure that I sharpen my pencil, because I really want a decent point. It doesn't have to be perfect, but decent enough. I'm gonna go in with this very helpful angle, I don't know, eyeliner helper. It doesn't have a name, but I did get it from my 𝗙𝗎𝗟𝗪 during that time, aka ipsy now. I will have a link if you are curious to what I'm talking about as far as the ipsy subscription in box. What it pretty much is you get full size 5 products that you pay a monthly subscription for, and you're able to try new products, and I love it. So, and this was one of the things I chose. Like, there was a time where I saw this and I was like, I gotta have that. So I liked it, and I prayed that they chose it to put it in the box, and it came. So what I'm doing is using this as a guide for my bottom lash line, and I'm just giving me a nice pretty wing. So now that that is on, before it dries, I'm just gonna blend it out. Next, I'm gonna go in with, this is Magenta Madness by MAC. It's pretty close to the color that I have on my eyes. As you can see, it's pretty close. And it's so pigmented that I'm gonna go in with just a small amount from the cap itself. And I'm using MAC's 228 detail brush. Okay, so next I'm gonna go in with the Morphe palette. This is the Supernatural Glow, and I'm holding it like this because it's broken. So bear with me. There's this pretty pink color that's in here that I'm going to actually put. Did I just drop a piece of that pigment? I sure did. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. So I'm gonna use the same detail brush that I was using for the magenta. Just applying this on the top section of the wing, just so that it gives it a nice gradient effect. And this color is actually called Calm Zone, and it's so pigmented. It blends in so nicely. So I'm just blending that on the outer edges of the magenta color. Alright, so I'm going to go in with the Huda palette. This is the Rose Gold palette that I love. I'm going to go in, I'm going to use this black. It's called Truffle Black. I'm going to use my angle brush. This is the Sigma's angle brush. I'm just going to create a wing, a small wing. And this is the trick when it comes to wearing any bright colors, is by applying dark shadows with it. And this is exactly what I mean. This is what's going to make it even more wearable. Following the lash line really closely. I'm just going to wing this out slightly. So I'm applying it on the lower lash line just so that it connects to the upper wing seamlessly. I'm gonna go in next with Huda's Desert Dusk palette, and I'm gonna go in with this color here. It's a pretty purple. It's called Amethyst, and I'm gonna use a fine detail brush. This is MAC 209, and I'm staying on the outer skirts of the black shade, and I'm just creating a nice green effect between the purple, the black, and the pink. So that purple is going to actually be the blending shade for us. Alright, so sticking with the same palette, I'm going to go in with this Desert Sand. It's a nice neutral shade. I'm going to mix it with Eden here. It has a nice peachy shade to it. And I'm just going to put this on to the rest of the lid. I'm starting with this color, the Eden color. And I'm going to use my Fluffy 222 brush by MAC. And I'm just going to put that on the lid. And I'm just going to make sure I concentrate more in this area and have the eyes more open on the inner corners. So for the rest of the lid, I'm actually going to go in with Vibes palette. This is Violet Ross palette. I'm going to go in with the Matte Vibes. It has all these pretty matte shades to it. I'm going to use this Perm color. It has a nice peach shade to it that I'm looking for, and I'm gonna put this on a crease. This way I can actually deepen the crease a bit more without adding a dark color to do it for me, a deep brown I should say to do it for me. This is a nice balance. I'm not going too far in the inner corners of the eye. I'm just really concentrating on the crease. So I struggled to actually find a pigment that I wanted to use, but I'm going to actually use MAC's Reflect Pink powder, which I searched for. I wanted to find something a bit different, but it's a glitter pigment reflection that has, I see a bit of gold and pink into it, but it definitely reflects pink, and it's such a fine powder that it goes on magically. I usually use this for the inner corners of the eye or just like very specific detailed highlights because it has a really high shine. So I'm going to make sure to also use a really light hand. I'm going to go in with my Sigma 252 brush. So because this product has a bit more flyaways that I actually want, I'm going to use my mixing medium. This is MAC's mixing medium. You can mix your foundations and products, anything pretty much, to make it a lighter consistency, thinner consistency, or help it, these pigments to stick. What I do is I wet the opposite side of the brush so that it seeps in. So when I actually apply the product, I'm not applying directly wet to the eyeshadow since I don't want to interrupt or disrupt it too much. And I will go back in the lid and pick up more product on the side that I didn't put the mixing medium on. And now when it comes to applying this product, it's going to go on way more pigmented, and you use the other side to press in and give it something more to stick to as you go, as it's needed. I'm gonna go in with Glide or Die by MAC. This is their kohl pencil, and I'm just gonna create a point. It's self-sharpening. Well, I guess it's, you screw it up, and I'm pretty much out of this, so I cannot make it any longer, unfortunately, or sharpen it any further. And how I do is I like to follow my natural eye shape. So I'm staying on the in the center and I'm just pulling out. That way it makes a natural angle where my eye, the direction of my eye is going. I don't go above or below. I need to go get me another one, but until then. So this is an accent brush by Real Techniques, and I'm just going to put this on the top waterline just to blend in with that inner corner. I'm also going to take that same gel, this same liner, and I'm just going to light just the inner corners of the bottom waterline. And I'm not going to put any on the top waterline as well, because when I blink, it's going to transfer. Just on the inner corners, so that when I do blink, that's the only part that should be touching. So I'm going to put on my lashes. I'm going to use my duo glue that I love with the brush. And I'm just going to line my top lashes. This is the way that I love to do it. Fast and easy. But if you're going to do it this way, you have to be fast. And you'll see what I mean. I'm going in with my favorite base. This is L'Oreal Voluminous Primer. I love primer because I love my lashes. I'm going to first put it on the bottom. Normally I wait, but I do want this to be dry because I only want to put one application of mascara. So next I'm going to go in to the top lash line. I'm just going to work this in. And it's okay if you got glue. This is going to help to wipe off that glue that you may have accidentally put on your lashes. Now we're not going to let the primer dry. We're just going to go in with our black mascara. This is my current favorite, Salute to the Sun by 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗡. Help me say that. 𝗙𝗢𝗡. So going in with my Angle Lashes by Velour. It has a nice tapered inner corner while it wings out, which is perfect for this look. I'm going to go in with my favorite angle tweezer. I'm just going to place that. I actually like to look down at my lashes. And now I'm going to get some black mascara on the bottom lash. And being that we put one coat of primer, the mascara just goes on pigmented without you having to apply more than one layer over and over again. So when it comes to the bottom lashes, I don't mind the primer drying. It makes it so effortless when it comes to applying mascara. My favorite go-to to warm up my face is this palette, this Candle Glow Sheer Perfecting Powder. This is by Laura Mercier. I love Laura Mercier products, and there's a reason. Like, it's so soft, it's so iridescent, but it allows me to really apply pigment everywhere that I want without overdoing or applying more powder and making my face look cakey. That I don't want, but it warms it up. So I'm going to use a couple of products to warm up my face. I'm going to go in with my MAC 129. This is the blush brush, but we're being detailed here. So if I'm like doing my makeup fast and I'm running out, what I normally would do, because sometimes this light can be a little bit deceiving, I would go in my bathroom, which I have white daylights in. I was gonna say white lights, but daylights. And I don't have too many tungsten lights in my house. I don't like the yellow that it gives off too much. But it's really confusing when it comes to applying makeup. It's really best to have daylight so that you can really see your makeup true to color. So as you can see, look how warm my face is. It's not heavy, and this is the shade number 4. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is an older product, so I'm not sure if they still have it, but I would definitely link it down below because it is definitely one of those staples for me. So I would just use this to just blend everywhere, honestly. Next, I'm going to go in with my next favorite palette that I love to use to blend in products, which is my contour kit, which looks like a mess, and I need to get me some more. But this shade here, which is, it doesn't tell you. So this is the medium palette and dark palette mixed in together. I decanted and depotted them because one was finished and whatever. So as you can see, some things hit pan. So what I would do, I would take it out of pan and I would just put it into a palette like this. So I had 2 of these, and the old ones were, you know, they're done. So I was still using this. But I love this coral shade here, and I love to use this especially for my cheek area. Not as a replacement for blush, but just to warm up this area. And I like hitting my nose, especially in the summertime, or just in general to be more tan. On the forehead, it just warms up the face. So I'm going to go in now and I'm going to contour my nose, being that now it looks so wide. It definitely needs a bit more contour. It's warmed up, but it's a bit more wide. So I'm going to go in with my Fenty. This is the Caramel Cutie bronzer. I'm going to go in with a small detailed angle brush. I'm just going to contour the way that I love to do. And this is what I meant when I said earlier that I was going to go into the brows. And so I didn't want to be too detailed, because I know exactly what I was going to do later. So that inner section is just a bit wiped out because of this contour, but we're going to fix that, and that's usually what I like to do. So I don't like press myself too much when it comes to the brows in the beginning. Now that that's blended out a bit, I'm going to go in with my Becca highlight. This is in shade Opal. It's Demolished. So you can you see? Kind of, but it has a nice champagne shade to it that I love, and I'm not getting rid of. I have to fix this. It is completely demolished, but I love it so much that it's a staple. But that's what happens when you travel with your makeup. So I'm going in, this is MAC's 324 brush, and I'm just going to add this to the high point of the highlight. And it just gives a nice sheen to the face. It doesn't actually have glitter reflections, which is nice. So you can actually put it in certain places that you wouldn't mind having a bit of that shine without worrying about looking like a, you know, glowing globe, I should say. So I'm going to go in now with Real Techniques blush brush, which is super fat, but I love it for this. So this is the Eloise 3D Blush and Glow palette that I'm just obsessed with. Look at this. Like, I haven't seen these colors in such a long time. I love anything that has a coral to it, and I feel like I have so many shades of coral that it just makes me so happy. And I am going to go in with this color here. It doesn't tell you in the back which shade it is, but I'm going to make sure I dust off because this stuff is pigmented, so I don't want too much, but I'm just going to glide on my cheeks until I get the buildup that I'm looking for. That's pretty. So I'm going to actually go back in with that Opal, Becca Opal color, because I do want some highlight. I believe this look deserves some highlight. And I'm going to risk it all with my angle brush, and I'm going to dip it in here ever so slightly. I'm really just patting because, again, it's broken, but I don't care. And I'm just going to use the angle of this brush to do the work. So this is what I'm doing, but fast. So let's go ahead and get some neutral shade on his lips. His eyes are the main attraction, and we want to keep it that way. So it's a balance. If you make your eyes pop, your lips, they have to be neutral. They have to be in some shape or form neutral. Otherwise, you're making an artistic choice. So just be careful with that. So I'm going to go in. This is NK makeup that I got from Beauty Supply Store. This is their lip pencil in Cocoa. And it just, like, I have 2 of these because it glides on so nicely. I love this sharpener, by the way, that I got from Sephora. It actually has 2 sizes for the fatter brushes. So you pull it out. This is a medium and that's the large. It also opens, so you don't actually have to have scrapings everywhere on the top and the bottom. But I'm not going to open the bottom right now, but it's freaking awesome. There's something else that this does. Inside here has, if I pull it out, ooh, you know how sometimes when you're sharpening stuff, it gets stuck on the inside, it breaks off, the pencil breaks off on the inside. This has a nice little pusher, scraper, but it allows you to scrape out anything that's been stuck, and it's just snugged inside there. So this is one of my favorites. I have 2 of these. I'm actually thinking about getting 2 more because I need one for the gym, one for my travel bag. Like, I just do all that. I'm extra. I don't care. I might want to do a bit more. Do I want to do pink neutral? I'm going to do pink neutral. This is Juvia's Chic lipstick. I'm going to go in with Real Techniques. This is their detail brush. And I'm just going to use that to blend in. And then blend it out by squeezing them together. So that is done. I need to set this with my favorite setting powder. I have not said that, and I'm saying it today. Like, I love this setting powder because it does not break up my makeup after a few hours. Like, I feel like it helps the makeup to really set and sink in. So this is 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗡, 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗡𝗙. Anyway, this is the watermelon burst. I know I'm crushing the name. I'm so sorry. And I love it. I am going to make sure, though, that I don't get none of this on my hair. And then I'm just going to... So I'll be back. I'm going to go fix my face. I'm going to go and fix my hair. And yeah, show you the finished look. So that is it for this look. I think it's so pretty. Like, it's so pretty. And it's wearable. Like, that's the point of wearing bright shadows. You don't want to go outside looking crazy. You want it to be wearable. And if it looks like you have on bright makeup, you want it to complement you in such a way that people don't mind. If anything, they're complimenting you. So I hope you liked the tutorial. Thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment below, join the family, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.